thingy that they're doing. Yeah, no, I think Naventic is going to be able to, or needs to be looking to be able to make that change. At least mentality-wise, I feel like that, had to hurt them. And so very much I'm looking to see, how well they do. Because, again, we've seen them drop pretty significantly after one loss into a series. Other times they are able to turn it around. It's just, it's a roller coaster with them.
You never know, right?
Yeah.
It's all the mindset for Team Naventic. But I'm wondering now what they're going to do. Team Naventic, out of all of the teams in HGC and NA, are the ones who are most flexible with, hey, we just lost the last game. Are we going to take this chance and go to our preferred battleground, or are we going to take first pick? Traditionally, Naventic has been all about the first pick, very vocal about how much they put stock into first pick, but they have been the most flexible team so far with, like, do we want map here?
How does that work out?
I don't know.
For being a team, without a doubt, the most vocal about first pick, but when given the option, it's probably the most voluntary to be able to give it up. It's interesting to see how that plays out. Personally, I think depending on the matchup, it changes in priority. I like to see that fluidity. I think the fact that it's been kind of coded as, first pick OP has been a little poor in North America because, granted, there are scenarios where first pick is going to be better. There are scenarios where second pick is going to be better. A lot of that has to do with the battleground. And then your team preferences versus your opponent's team preferences can really be alluded to. I can say I personally beat Cloud9 in a tournament solely on first pick and second pick, depending on which map we took them to. Small maps, second pick. Big maps, first pick. All depends on the meta, but I love that we see at least Naventic be that fluid with it.
Now, Superstars has chosen Brax's Holdout, so it is Naventic choosing to have first pick. Brax's Holdout is one that Naventic are fine to play on. They've even picked it once in their last series, I believe, but they haven't yet found a win on it. So how do you think they're feeling now moving into this?
It's got to be tough. Like I said, I cannot get across the point enough. When Zuna's not on Zeratul and things didn't go good in that sense, and Zuna's put on a hero where he's out split pushing, I think you're going to see this game. Point out the hero that's a playmaker, 100% of the chance Zuna's on it, unless it's a warrior or a support. Which, by the way, out of all the roles he's ever played, he has literally never supported in heroes.
Is it going to be Zul'jin?
I think for Superstars, in fact, is going to be. I don't know for Naventic, though.
Yeah, we haven't seen them run that strat yet. Have we? Wait, we have seen them play Zul'jin before.
Did we see Naventic bust it out? I thought they were not one of the 2 or 3 teams that we ended up seeing using in North America
They have played it, but it was not on Braxis. So there's your difference there. But it doesn't mean that they don't, just that we haven't seen it from them yet. Team Naventic are looking at Zarya. Zarya is an interesting one when we look at her win rate. Overall, it's about 50 or 40. It's hovering around there, but she has some battlegrounds where she is insanely good and some where she hasn't even had a win on yet. And Braxis is probably her best when we're looking at those win rates, 75% out of her 4 games.
And pulling a ban most consistently on this map. She just is a standout hero when it comes to Brax's Holdout. The ability to be able to isolate around those really easy and very predictable rotations in those tight chokeholds, confirm 1 kill. Suddenly your opponent really can't do anything here. Superstars has to question what they're going to be able to do with this ban. They're looking at the Tassadar, but they're beginning to go, well, suddenly on Brax's Holdout, the priority changes a little bit when it comes to other heroes like supports and things of the like. So, are they really want to be able to remove the Tassadar, considering Morales is going to be a high contested hero here? That's what I'm talking about, though, when it comes to depends on the map. Because, suddenly Morales is a high value hero, which changes if there's 7 OP heroes that you think are way better than everything else, then ban accordingly, and suddenly you get a majority, or you at least remove that from your opponents. And that is why I like that fluidity that we see from Naventic when it comes to the picks. Either way, we just get rid of the Tassadar. It's going to be consistent, at least, I think, throughout week 1 of HGC North America after this patch. And Vala is going to be the first pick here.
Vala stolen by Team Naventic. We had talked about both Big E and Faye and how much both teams have been prioritizing having Vala in their lineups. She gives a lot of area damage to be able to clear out Zerg. Superstars now could do something just as easy as Morales. Are they going to go as far as Morales Zul'jin?
I think so. You can't pick. What I would like to see from them is you Morales and then you just something else. You don't pick one of those hyper carries like that. All right, so we see the variant. I don't know how I feel about the variant so much here. We'll talk about it a little bit later, but actually it might work out really good. But why you take just Morales in this position is there's no world where your opponents, being Naventic, other than Gul'dan Malfurion rotation, which could punish them drastically if they take it, where they can deny Gul'dan and ban out the Zul'jin. If you truly think that that is the strategy, you can't rid of both without putting them in an awkward Gul'dan pairing, except for the Malf. So the fact that Malf made up may be a little bit too risky here in this scenario, but if Malf was banned, for instance, that would have been a huge power play to be able to move into, leaving that up. But since Gul'dan pairs well with the Malfurion, maybe not as pretty. But even then, you know, they already have Vala. Do they really want the Gul'dan? It's just, I think, a safer route when it comes to the draft overall.
Well, Team Naventic now don't get Varian, their primary warrior choice. Gul'dan Malf, there you go.
Proper response saying, hey, we see what you're doing here, but we have the opportunity to be able to pick in this rotation, and in fact, Naventic locks it in. Now you have to say, well, Superstars, yes, you did manipulate the draft, but are you going to be able to outvalue, you know, that raw spread damage that we see in the 4-man now on the bottom half with the Malfurion? You are not going to win in the wave clear. That is just not happening now because they have Gul'dan and Vala, but you do have Varian and you have Morales, which means you win in kill potential. Now, shift. Pick top laner in the next transition. Make sure it's the winning one, which personally think Dahaka is the best way to grow. Then focus towards things like Jaina or somebody to follow up to the variant, somebody to be able to say, hey, screw you, Malfurion, Gul'dan, Vala in that 4-man, lock in a kill. That is what Superstars needs to do in the rest of this draft.
Well, Team Naventic now can try to stop as much of that as they can, whether they want to focus on solo laners here or if they just want to take out Zul'jin, which we saw earlier on today, played by Team Dignitas on this battleground. And Superstars banned ETC too, so they are putting a little bit of focus on B-Kid. Not sure what he will want to play now. After that, I guess Diablo maybe, but that hasn't been worked out the best for Naventic before, but does have some synergies.
We'll see where they go. This is a important ban for Naventic and could shape the rest of this draft. In fact, it's going to be the Sonya leaning a little bit towards possible, you know, an Artanis. It's obviously putting focus into the 4-man, fearing that. So maybe it's going to be alluding a little bit towards the Artanis. I don't know how many other direct matchups I look at Sonya and go, you know, suddenly unstoppable into. And the fact that she hasn't shown up and now is drawn into a ban, interesting here from Naventic. But now Superstars, again, worry about your top lane. You just saw the Sonya ban. Who is the most optimal top lane? Take that before Naventic get their hands on it, and then convert your bottom lane to wave clear. Or not wave clear, excuse me, kill potential.
They played Artanis in that lane before, and then the other time was Thrall as well. But things like Rexxar are up, and Rexxar's different. He was changed. Lunara.
Okay.
That is the first Lunara,
in all
I
of
think.
North America.
It is in North America, but it might even be in HGC. There he is, the new Rexxar with Misha.
Okay, so a step into the wild side is really kind of where this draft has gone. Whether it's the Dryad or the Bear, either way, it's getting wild on the side of Superstars in this draft. Naventic on their last picks. What deals with Rexxar? I'm guessing it's going to be a Leoric pick. To be able to deal with the Rexxar. It might be a Dahaka. I don't think Dahaka does as well as Leoric, but Leoric doesn't win that matchup either. Rexxar is always such a tough one. It's whoever gets on the point first is typically going to be the one that thrives, purely on the fact that if you've ever tried to kill Misha, you're felt pretty good, but if you ever try to kill Misha and Rexxar, it's pretty much unheard of.
Things that Naventic have put in the top lane before are Ragnaros, Shin, and Rexxar. Rexxar is nice for Superstars because it is also a deny versus Team Naventic. Naventic have been known to play Rexxar and put him up in the top before, but Artanis is going to be the choice, and Muradin will be the warrior for B-Kid.
Very, with the Sonya ban, not surprising to see Artanis in the top lane. Don't know how I feel about that into the Rexxar matchup specifically. I feel like it doesn't have enough control to be able to bump Rexxar off the point. It just doesn't win that skirmish very well unless he gets the damage onto Rexxar themselves, which usually when well macroed, microed, is unrealistic to expect out of Artanis.
One last pick for Superstars. We have a warrior, we have a top laner, and we have the support. I'm not sure who will be playing what between Hosty and Faye, but Lunara is there. We're looking for one more person to put into 4-man.
It still needs kill potential. The Lunara is going to be really good with sieging, and it's going to be good for long DPS, but there's nobody to follow up whatsoever to the Varian in the 4-man again. They have really good skirmishing. Post 7, it could make up for it with Nature's Calling. I still wanted to see something focusing on the kill potential, but it's going to be the Medivh.
I thought maybe it'd be Tychus.
Tychus? Yeah, that could be.
But it's going to be Medivh. Medivh worked for Superstars in the last game. They've proven that they've been working a lot on their synergy with him specifically,
yeah.
And he does make it so he even helps out Morales even more with the sustain. So in that respect, Superstars are sticking to something that they've been practicing on and comfortable with, and we may just see them continue that until they're beaten in the strategy.
Yeah, and you know, Medivh is kind of rare in the sense that, like, as long as everybody on the team plays it perfectly with him, he's a hero that I legitimately feel can single-handedly carry the game. So I'm never going to be able to look at a Medivh draft and be like, I don't know about this. There's always an opportunity, but it is. There was a lot of risks taken in this draft by Superstars. I mean, we ended up with Lunara, Rexxar, and Medivh. I think it's pretty apparent that those risks were taken. But also, when considering the picks themselves, not only just being unorthodox, they're just not meeting what I expected them to go to, at least when it comes to, you know, considering their 1 and 4-man. Minus the Rexxar. That was heavy consideration of the first.
Well, I'm very excited to see how our new Rexxar will do here on Brax's Holdout. It is one of, if not his best map for sure. And then Lunara pick 2. It's been so long since we've seen our Poisoning Dryad emerge from whatever forest she's been hanging out in.
Are you going Leaping Strike? Are you going Thornwood? I think
probably Thornwood.
I think
you want Leaping Strike?
I think I want Leaping.
If she's gonna go Giant Killer for the Warriors, then probably usually you see that paired with Leaping Strike.
Yeah.
But we'll see, because we're heading into game number 2 between Team Naventic and Superstars.
The main reason why, looking at the Lunara, why I want to see the Leaping Strike is Thornwood Vine is going to be able to spread, obviously, a large amount of DPS, and it's pretty cool. But nothing is going to actually die unless Lunara is the one putting the spear in their back. And so, again, it's like Medivh, long sustaining burst, or long sustaining DPS, and then they have the Lunara, exact same thing. Varian's got a solid, you know, engage, a little bit of burst is always cool to be able to have to back that up. But the only adjustment they have to actually get burst is, in fact, Leaping Strike.
There are a lot of... Oh, sorry.
No, that's why I want it, especially into a mouth healer. That spread damage is not going to work. If they take Thornwood Vine, if I'm Naventic, I just tank Sanctification. Or not Sanctification, but Tranquility, and I just walk with it.
There are a lot of questions I have for builds, and especially on the side of Superstars, like how Morales is going to build. Are we going to see Stim Drone and do the Stim Drone Lunara? Are we going to have Astral Projection for Medivh so that he can have increased range and put portals in between the 2 points, or whether he'll stick with making sure that he has the portals out more often, because that is the trade-off.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
No, I agree. There's a lot of questions at hand. Superstars here has to make a couple of choices overall, obviously here how they want to be able to play it out. I can't help but feel like overall, I think, you know, keeping things a little bit norm. And, you know, sticking to the traditional Medivh build, not going with the variation. Especially after getting a win in that last game, it just makes the most sense to be able to keep things, you know, to what Superstars probably knows best. But we'll find out as the game goes on. We get those talents.
Yeah, we'll make sure to keep you updated on how Goku is building Rexxar. The big deal with Rexxar is some of his level 7 and level 1 talents were traded out. Bird of Prey is going to be the first choice, so Spirit Swoop now does 150% bonus damage to minions, so that will enable Rexxar to keep the waves pushed in lane versus Artanis. And we saw some of that versus an Artanis before when Naventic busted out Chen and just kept that lane super far pushed with all of the minions. Artanis didn't have the greatest time with it.
Yeah, it's a really great tool, and you know, having that wave clear is something that you can always have. Again, you focus on either skirmish potential or you focus on wave clear, and it looks like there's going to be a bit of focus when it comes to the wave clear there for Rexxar. So far in the top lane, from what I've seen, it does look like it's a pretty close to even trade. Goku has the upper hand for now, but overall, Tomster seems to be holding his own. Whoever caps it first, though, that's a huge moment, especially if it is going to be the Rexxar, because it's so hard to be able to bump Rexxar off that point. Speaking of bumping off, in fact, Gul'dan, live victim to being bumped off here in the bottom lane for Naventic.
That's always nice, too, when you're up against Gul'dan, especially at Brax's holdout. Slow down Echoed Corruption stacks just for as long as you can, because it won't be long until he has that quest talent finished. Ray's going to dive in on top of Zuna. Does not have Warbringer just yet, but just now here. See if that's the pickup. Yeah, that
was
is.
all up in their face in that moment. You know, very risky positioning coming out of Zuna. Everything else is, in fact, going to be the Rexar Dream there at level 4, moving into the Hunter-Gatherer.
Not going for Animal Husbandry, but if he can get all of those globes, needing 20, then he and Misha will get 10 armor. So just making them even tankier. But I've heard tales of Animal Husbandry being terrifying to go up against, because as long as Rexar is alive, he and Misha just keep gaining more max health until Rexar dies. So Misha can keep dying, but Rexar keeps getting those stacks for both of them. That won't be the choice here for Goku. He's sticking with the globe talent.
And for now, the Zerg Rush is going to be sitting at a flat 0 for both sides. Again, when you have Morales on this map, overall, you should win the bottom. When it comes to just killing the wave clear, you have to consider early before the Shrine's up. Shrine's now up here is going to go in favor of Naventic, but again, their skirmishing struggles, especially into those Medivh shields when we see it in Lunara there, to be able to bust out the damage into the long run. Artanis and Misha on point. Artanis is doing a far better job into Rexar than I thought. Oh, delay there from Misha again. Good job by Goku, baits her off, and in fact, that is going to be top captured here for Naventic.
But still no percentage, as Superstars were keeping in contact, making sure that as Rexar lost the top beacon, the rest of Superstars moved on and got the bottom one. So still just trading out, but Superstars are starting to get a lead in their experience. They've been pushing lanes as much as they possibly can, but with all the poison damage between the two damage dealers, Gul'dan and Lunara, in the bottom, Superstars haven't gotten too much of a push going on just yet, but Hosty has rotated up to the top, will help Superstars get this top beacon for now, but Naventic and seeing Medivh are just going to do the same thing bottom.
Yeah, Naventic scouted that out, but a little bit too late, and they're going to have to be able to back up. Seven's picked up soon. Is it the Nature's Calling? It's got to be the Nature's Calling, right? I really hope it is. At 7 there for Lunara. For those who don't know, Nature's Calling pretty much just takes anything that isn't a hero and proceeds to make sure its health bar doesn't exist if she gets any kind of spell or auto attack damage onto it, increasing the mercenary damage by a large amount. Varian goes in onto Zuna. The heals in Harass are looking both ways for now.
Nope.
And instead is going to go into Q.
Splintered Spear. So now when Lunara uses Noxious Blossom, her next basic attack hits as many as 4 enemies, which can also apply the Nature's Toxic. Usually when you see this, you see it versus like an Uther who has trouble keeping up with his cooldowns, keeping everyone healed up. Maybe hoping that it will be more than Kenma can possibly keep up with his regrowths. But with all the healing over time, not sure how that will work out, but I do know that Stray and the rest of Superstars get another kill on Zuna, and this is going to open up a man advantage for them to maybe start getting some more Zerg.
I have been amazed that Superstars with a Lunara, Medivh, Morales, and Lunara, Medivh, Morales, and Varian bottom lane has been able to kill Gul'dan and Vala this consistently. There is no burst. There is just a stun. That is it. And they've managed to be able to get a lot of kills here in this game. Already 2 into that 4-man. Naventic here, things are falling apart, and Superstar doing such a great job of punishing any misposition there between Big Impact and Zuna.
Goes as well that Superstars are making sure to really have the focus fire necessary. Beacon now is the next one to be in trouble. Still had Dwarf Toss, so he could get away. And there's going to be an aggressive portal for the scare. Once again, stun goes down onto Zuna, and Superstars keep a hold of the beacons. It's just about there, 80 or 98% and 100. Stray diving deep to ensure that his team can get the 100% Zerg rush, and with a backup Medivh, he always has portals and shields to keep him and allow him to keep going even longer than before. So here it is, here's the big Zerg rush. No Nature's Calling, so not as much damage structurally, but oh, the Beacon had to dwarf toss over the wall. Thankfully he had that.
Yeah, and the reason I love Nature's Calling on this map is not even so much offensive. It's pretty cool offensive, but more than anything, it's just the defense value that you can get out of it. It's, you know, she is probably only beaten by Gul'dan in that sense when she has Nature's Calling to be able to get the clear. Swap attempt's gonna land onto Faye. The beam is there. The Medivh shield yet to be used. Very patient or on cooldown. Either way, that is gonna cost Faye her life. As the Web Weaver, or not Web Weavers, the Zerg Rush are gonna get cleared on the bottom. Words are hard today.
Zerg Weavers.
Yeah. Oh, okay,
Maybe.
so do we see Trank come out? I think the Q, I can't help but feel like the Q coming out of Superstars is going to lead into, we'll see where she goes. I feel like that's going to be, means it's going to be a Thorwood. It's spreading damage as much as possible.
There it is.
Which makes Tranquility now, I think, the must pick on the side of Naventic.
Well, there's a full level until we find out what Naventic want for their heroic abilities. Skullcracker, level 7. More stuns for Team Naventic. I really want to know, though, what the level 10 is going to be for Iacona. Bestial Wrath is the choice 2 for Rexxar. At level 7, he also went for Aspect of the Beast, which is making sure that he has Misha charge up as much as he can. Misha's basic attacks reduce that cooldown there. You can see Medevac dropship as Iacona will drop himself and Faye off here in the bottom lane to clear out this camp for Naventic.
A lot of patience shown there out of fear of, you know, what if this Medevac was a little bit too far? Posey was going to be able to drop the shield to be able to aid. So now Naventic here goes in. They're worried about the globe control. Just this bottom lane has been untouched. Oh, speaking of that, though, with good cleanse coming out from Kenma to be able to get the peel. Lane line sealed is going to be dropped. Dwarf toss out. So in fact, that was what, a 3 heroics used there for almost nothing. But immediately, as there's going to be the counter engage, one person already going down for Naventic. Azuna pops the strafe, the taunt through the portal, and that is going to be a kill confirmed once more here for Superstars, and they're just not done. There's Sray going in, doesn't miss the Q, or does not hit the Q. Could have led to another kill. Naventic just doesn't, they're just dying. That's just it. It's just one combo between the Medivh, between the Varian. You know, one Warbringer, and it's over. And
Rexxar has just been hanging out, doing Rexxar things.
Yeah.
Misha things too, holding on to beacons, randomly jungling, and the 4-man of Superstars, a 4-man that we would have never considered, is able to hold its own. And because Rexxar is the one who is jungling, it pulls Artanis up to have to do the same. And Superstars showing that they have far more strats planned and in store for Team Naventic.
Yeah, we'll see if he hits the Stormbolt. Goku with the juke is going to be able to keep him alive here. Misha comes in, you know, saying, get off my friend. Is it a master or is it a friend? I don't know the Rexxar lore very well there.
You are asking.
Is it
Kalaris
he's a hunter?
Here?
He's a famous hunter and that's his pet. So then it is like a master. I think he's a hunter.
It's sort of a thing, right, where nobody has a pet bear. It's just this mutual respect and friendship.
Oh, is it? Okay,
yeah.
So they're friends.
Yeah.
She's a friendly bear. Swap on Iacona.
Oh, Submergible's down. Hostie's used Force of Will. Iacona's out of there with a great portal too. Superstar nearly at level 13. Throwing out the damage on B-Kit, starting to slow him down. They have a follow-up as well. He has to use Avatar. Orify's been used and it will buy some time for now, but Leyline Seal was on a couple of the members of Naventic too. Still no kills just yet, but the jump goes back in. Taunt to follow up. Malfurion gets taken out. We'll see if B-Kid can get out of here. Here comes Misha. Misha charging. Misha just swiping and gets a kill on Muradin.
Medivh Variant has to be the scariest duo of heroes that has ever existed in a long time in Heroes. Between that taunt and that stun, the mobility it gains to be able to get it onto the right target, but more than anything, the beauty of Varian and Medivh together is the fact that if you go in for that portal stun play and you're like, well, it didn't work out, everybody just portals right on back. You use shields to make sure nobody dies in the meantime, and then you re-portal, reinitiate. It's like, if it didn't work the first time, it's every time we see, you know, those point-and-click focused hard CCs and high kill potential, anytime you can, you know, just get that reset, wait it out, reinitiate. It's such a foolproof kind of approach to the game. The easiest strategy typically is going to be the best, and so far Superstars has made that, you know, the easier strategy, if you will, a 3-level lead.
Yeah, it seems like Naventic at this point really are just relying on being able to get a swap to save the game.
Yeah,
but even when you get a swap onto somebody versus the SS Hostie as Medivh, he just drops a portal and gets anybody out. Or Morales might even go into medevac. But in that case, she doesn't even have to do that because the protection is there. They have Force of Will, later on reabsorption once they have 16. and then a portal always to bail someone out of trouble. So in that respect, it was not getting astral production, instead quickening, just to make sure that there's always or never downtime really for portal. And Hosty is playing this out very well on his Medivh.
Yeah, Naventic, obviously, if they end up losing this game, I think we can expect some drastic adjustments into their draft. But for now, they are going to be looking to cap this invade attempt possible, as you know, Hosty's going and flying above, letting everybody know that, hey, we know where you are. We'll decide if we want to invade you. Sray trying to be able to time the camp here, worried about timing it with the map objective. Always, anytime you can get that split pressure, it's in your best interest. But Naventic is more concerned about backing out wave clearing, not looking to be able to get the invade with, you know, maybe onto Superstars, showing that they are going to be looking for that window more into 13 into 16. But I can't help but feel like I would much prefer 12 into 15. In this scenario, there is an idealistic approach, which Naventic is very comfortable doing sometimes, which is hitting 13 and somehow getting that fight, but I can't help but feel like that is very unrealistic to be able to get that into the composition on the side of Superstars, especially with Leyline Seal, a Medivh, and a dead Zune, or excuse me, Ken.
The turnaround was very good there for Superstars. They're not done yet as Leyline Seal goes down. Misha charges through the members of Naventic, taking out Gul'dan, and Stray continues on to push, trying to take out Zuna. He'll turn around, seeing Tomster on Iacona, and make sure that they don't even lose their medic. Tomster's going to drop the B-step as he goes down. Zuna's been killed too, and only B-Kid remains for now. Dwarf passing away, but Hosty and Misha, maybe the new dynamic duo, are on the chase to get the kill. Beacons are activating in just 1 second, and both members of Superstars are pushing in the bottom as well as getting the beacons, knowing that the Zerg Rush will be here in the bottom, so if they can open up to this keep, it's just even more damage that can be done.
Yeah, they may even want to, you know, they have the option to be able to back up and consider a boss too in this small time window, but they decide to go the other route. It's, you know, 44 and counting when it comes to the Zerg Rush. They are just going to be able to posture on bottom. I don't know. It's an interesting choice here for Superstars. They had 3 different routes they could have gone, and they went with the safest to be able to confirm a keep, but the weakest in terms of confirming the game as efficiently as possible. Because now this Zerg Rush, unless they are 100% confident they can end the game here, which it is very realistic with how dominant they've been, they could. But if they do not, it really, you know, they don't have as many structures as they possibly could have, where they could have gone top, where they could have gone elsewhere. 2-man root, but with Artanis already dead, don't think it's going to matter. Twilight Dream was dropped there.
There's no ice block for Kenma. He went for full Moonfire build instead, but Kenma is back in a safe spot. That is Leyline Seal used, and this time Kenma will get taken out just as the Horrify will go down too, but Superstars maintain the chase. They have the Zerg Rush, the full force of the Zerg behind them as they bring down Vala. A portal to maybe get a kill on BK, but it won't matter. Only Gul'dan and Muradin remaining, a 4-level lead, 16 kills to 2. And this Medivh play consistently working out for Superstars here in their series versus Naventic in the Heroes Global Championship.
Yeah, it's awesome to be able to see, you know, Medivh maybe making a rise in North America. I mean, he is insane when used as a team, as a total group together, as a unit. And we slowly see him not only just within North America, within every part of the world. He is kind of popping up here and there. And it's exciting to know that Superstars, maybe, you know, them and Team 8 are the teams that are kind of taking the reins on that and being able to be like, hey, we can play Medivh here in North America too.
Well, Team Naventic now down 2 games in the series. We'll see if they can bring it back right after this.
to smash things!
Heroes of the Dorm 2017 is here, and signups are now open. Test your skill for a chance to win tuition for your college career. Find out more at heroesofthedorm.com.
Welcome back to Heroes Global Championship. We've got Superstars, we've got Team Naventic, and Superstars sitting pretty 2-0 over Naventic so far in this series.
I love when you enter that. Welcome back to HGC North America. We've got Superstars